not afraid, for love is near, and perfect love drives out all fear. Be not afraid, be not afraid.
Hey team, welcome back to another episode of the Arizona Adaptive Water Sports Awesome podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Paul Johnson. Thanks so much for coming back. This is a really fun episode. In this episode, I talked to James Zimmerman, Jay-Z, Marine and disabled and all around badass. Yeah, the guy is very cool. We had a very good talk about his first time coming out to the lake, what it meant to him and his observations, and he really gets it. Yeah, he's super spot on. I'm very excited to share this conversation with you. We have a very fun event coming up, the Be Awesome Wake Surfathon and Tubathon. It's coming up September 21st. So I keep getting a lot of questions about that, and I'm gonna put together another basic video. But what it is your opportunity to either come out and wake surf or come out and jump on the back of a tube and get hauled around the lake for a couple of fun laps, all in support of our adaptive athletes. So you set up a fundraising page, you raise support through sponsorships from your friends and family, and then you come and you surf with us and enjoy the time. And we're throwing a big party to celebrate our 6th successful season as an organization and thank our volunteers and celebrate our top fundraisers. So it's going to be a very great time. We have programs coming up in September, days for everybody. So all disabilities can come out September 13th and 14th. We're excited about that. The Big Wake Surfathon event is September 21st, which also happens to be our Kids' Day. So it's going to be bonkers and crazy and so much fun out at the lake on September 21st. We're working really hard to coordinate all the boats. Of course, safety is our #1 thing. So we're going to be having a fun, safe, exciting day out there at the lake. We're excited. So, we're looking for guests too. I'm excited to talk to more people. So if you are a participant, if you are a family member participant, if you're one of our adaptive athletes, please fill out the link to come and be on this with me. We'll talk, we'll chat. It'll be a good time. So thank you so much for tuning in, coming back, hitting play, listening to this. So enjoy this conversation and be awesome, everybody. See you at the lake. Welcome back to another episode of the Arizona Adaptive Water Sports Awesome podcast. My guest today is James Zimmerman. James, thanks so much for being on the pod with us today, man. Appreciate you being here.
Oh, happy to participate. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So James is one of our athletes. And if you would, James, just, tell us your story. I know that you're a veteran, but that's kind of it. So yeah, let us know some more.
Well, I guess I'll just start from the beginning. Born and raised in Idaho, agricultural part of Idaho, grew up working on farms, grew up in a small town. So when there's not a lot to do in a small town and you're not working, you participate in sports.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah, that was, basically all of them: track, football, basketball, very active. I didn't want to stay in Idaho. I wanted to venture out. And one way to do that was, of course, the military. So in my mind at the time, what better branch of the Marine Corps? So I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I actually got permission early from my parents to go a little bit early. So I was technically went in the Marines when I was 17.
Okay.
So
what year would that have been? Or how old?
1992,
Okay.
a lifetime ago.
Yes, 17 and 92, and you're like, I'm going to be a Marine. That's pretty hardcore.
Exactly. I was ready to go. So spent 2 years in Camp Pendleton and was reassigned to Headquarters Marine Corps in 1994, where I finished my final 2 years. While I was in, I became involved in martial arts. Loved martial arts, progressed to the point where I was even teaching martial arts, and that's what I did when I got out of the Marines.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
I was injured in October of 2000. October 13th, Friday the 13th of 2000, nonetheless.
Yikes.
Car accident, burning the candle at both ends too much, just work and working out. And I mean, I was in the gym doing an hour cardio 6 days a week. I call it sneaking off during my lunch break from work to go and lift. Even at the end of the day, maybe go and walk on a treadmill for a bit just to, de-stress and decompress from the day. That was a car accident that night. And man, talk about having plucked out of your life. It was life-changing physically. However, mentally, I always wanted to stay active. So the rehabilitation part of that, I won't say it came easy. It was a long time ago, but just the drive and wanting to be active was helpful in rehabilitation.
If I could jump in real quick, James, what was so what's your diagnosis, or what? Yeah, you had the car accident.
My level of spinal cord injury is CAT1, so I have no feeling or voluntary movement from the chest line down.
Oh, wow. So you're a complete, is it?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
And so fortunately now, my hand dexterity was not affected. So full range of motion in the upper body. It's a little tough with balance, not a lot of core there to keep balance, but just make do and adapt.
Yeah. I feel like that's everyone with a spinal cord injury. There's not everybody, but even those guys, there's everyone's got something to be thankful for. They're like, oh, thank God I can still use my chin to drive this.
Yeah, exactly. There's,
always that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the human condition to survive and thrive. I think.
Yeah.
Of course, I've had my the bouts of depression and not treating myself well, and but eventually, ultimately, I think the human spirit you can just.
Yeah.
I don't want to say get over it, but yeah, get through it.
The water sports experience was so powerful for me to help me kind of get over past, but I waited a really long time, like post injury. So I waited 14 years post injury to go out and do that. So like one of the big reasons that I wanted to help start the organization as its own thing was to get people earlier, just so they're not waiting as long, because it just was so powerful for me. So
absolutely, that's how I felt. You're right. It's a powerful event. This past year has been huge for me in a lot of ways. About a year ago, I just realized that I was not as healthy as I wanted to be and as healthy as I could be. Maybe I let my injury as an excuse to get out of shape. And the one kicker for me was that I had a year before I turned 50. I did not want to spend my 50s unhealthy, overweight, and just unhappy. I took the last year very, very seriously. And in doing so, I started feeling better. My mood was improved 1,000%. I became more open to doing activities. In April, I took a trip by myself, went to Cancun, had a fantastic time. You'd be amazed how well your Spanish improves if you go down by yourself and have to communicate. It was fun. After that came the adventure with the adaptive water sports. I got out there. First thing I did was the kayaking. That was amazing. It was so peaceful out on Lake Bartlett. Very peaceful. Enjoyed that. Then the water skiing with the outriggers, and I kept signaling up to the boat, thumbs up, faster, faster. I just wanted, it couldn't go fast enough.
Right. Yeah.
I was trying to rock the skis a little bit to see what damage I could do as far as movement and stuff. It wasn't a lot of movement because of the outriggers, but it was still still got to the point where I said, okay, let's cut this. Let me grab the rope and let me put some muscles to work and get the full experience. It was a blast. Absolutely.
So did they get the outriggers off for you to do just the mono ski?
We did the mono ski but they changed the name of it. They called it wake surfing. Wake surfing. I have a different translation for wake surfing. I call it crash.
Yeah. No, yeah, for
The
sure.
only way
That's
to come
all.
off the wave is kind of crash. That was well, I tried it. Let's put it that way.
Man, no, that's 100% of it is like work figuring out which one is easier. I know personally, like water skiing, like I really like to water ski on the one mono ski, they take the outriggers off and you're just behind the boat. Um,
Right.
I found this like for success, like can consistently do that event out there.
Right.
I try all the other stuff, but like I know at least I'm like, I'm gonna do at least one lap in the mono ski. I'm just gonna have fun because
Right.
yeah, in and out of the wake and all that stuff. So, um, but yeah, I mean, get you back out there will for sure get you on that, man. You rock it, you love it. So,
Cool.
so was
Yeah.
this your first year going to the lake with us? This just May?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
wow. Okay.
The day on the lake was huge for me. That was a big event.
Yeah.
Just a lot of fun and admittedly, in the past I shied away from other adaptive activities and sports. The way I describe it is, I still have insecurities. I just don't have time for them anymore. The day on the lake was amazing. And recently, I just opened up to competing. I've been practicing archery and went to the National Veterans Wheelchair Games in New Orleans 2 weeks ago.
Oh, rad,
So,
man. Very
so yeah,
cool.
it's I love the activities, all the, and appreciative of all the programs that are out there because they really do make a difference. I mean, they're powerful, powerful events, man. And I mean, life changing.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that. That's where we're working really hard. That's the story we're trying to tell, everybody. Because I think from the outside looking in, it just looks like fun, and it is. But if you don't have a disability, aren't experienced with a family member or whatever, you just don't get it on the same level. I think people equate it to themselves just going out to the lake. It's like, oh, I went out, got sunburned, and it was another day on a boat.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, for someone that's like coming through an experience with disability and then doing that, it's so powerful. It's like it really is. It changed my life. And that's the story that we're really looking, because there's so many of
right,
us like you whose lives are like seriously impacted and oh, our minds are blown and like what else? So you getting involved
right.
in archery, that's awesome, that's like what we want. We want people to find their fun.
And for me, once I participated in that and I had that under my belt, if you will, hey, what else can we do? What's next? I mean, that experience just stays with you. That day on the lake. Yeah, it was a day on the lake, but it was an adventure that's going to be in my heart and mind forever.
Yeah.
That's what it does. I mean, it changes. It might be a 1 day event, but man, it sets you up for more adventure down the road. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing, man.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Well, another thing that comes with that, and I learned this especially with the National Veteran Wheelchair Games, is the people you meet and the people that I met on the lake. The World Olympics are going on, and you always hear stories when they interview the athletes about, man, yeah, I medaled in this event, but the one thing they're gonna take away from this, like the relationships and the friendships that they made and the people they came across. Well, it's the same way with this type of program. The people you meet and people who are established this type of an event obviously are doing so with I mean, it comes from the compassion and the drive to do things for other people. So you're going to attract positive type people when an event comes like this, and that's just going to enhance everyone's lives who gets to participate and get out there. I mean, it just makes it that uh, much more amazing and much more important.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the like, yeah, powerful, impactful, all those like life-changing kind of because
All those powerful words.
yeah, you don't yeah, because that is an interesting, like in the world of disability, it's like because we're all disabled, like no one knows a lot of disabled people generally, you know? If you like
Yeah,
ask my
right.
friends, normally I'm the only disabled person all my friends know, you know? So,
Right. Yeah.
so yeah, so it's like getting the community together and then the common experience. That's all, yeah, 100%. I'm with like that's been my experience. Like I joined the adaptive mountain bike team through High Country Adaptive Sports out of Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And now it's just similar. It's like all these, yeah, it's like we're all spinal cord injury, we're all struggling in these chairs together and
Right.
relationship, and we can all just talk so easily because we're all living through very similar struggles. So
Yeah, we get it. We
yeah,
get it. Yep.
yeah. No, like community, yeah, that's a huge part of yeah, what we're doing out there also. Yeah, you're getting it, James. You're seeing behind the curtain, man, all the things we're really trying to do.
Oh yeah, and I don't want to say I regret. I don't like spending time on regret, but I'm glad I'm doing it, and I could have been doing it for so many years. And like you said before, you want to reach out and get people sooner.
Yeah.
And that's a huge, um, yeah, that's what we need to do because, man, if I had had this experience sooner, I mean, my life would have been so much more enhanced sooner. I'm grateful that I can experience it now and I got time to appreciate it. But yeah, if I can sit with you and give you a little bit of my time for an interview to help encourage people to get out there and go after it and just try it. Just go to the lake and just get on a kayak for a few minutes, and then they'll find that they'll want to try other things. If it helps one person get out there, let's do it.
Yeah, man. Thank you, James. Yeah, you're a man after my own heart, buddy. That's exactly how I felt about it. It's like I'm so grateful, thankful, excited for what is happening in my life now. But like in retrospect, that would have been cool. You know, like, ah, man, I should have said yes. Should have said yes earlier.
Yeah.
But also, it's like I live and learn, and then I know because now I tell my story to people, so I still get invited back to mentor people at the hospital who are new spinal cord injuries. And that's like my story is always like, hey, I waited all this time, but in a year from now, I'm going to call you and want you to come water skiing with me, and it'll change your life, and let's do that. And that's what, so I've got all these mentees that I've pushed to get out there in the first couple of years of their accident, and they're all just so thankful, grateful. So I imagine with the VA, you may have a similar community connection where you can talk to people. And yeah, just being able to tell those stories though, stories change lives, it really makes us all imagine what else could be.
They really do. I mean, one thing I think is important for people to realize when they approach, and I say approach because, thinking about getting on skis when you've had a spinal cord injury, if I think about it too much, it's like, whoa, that's crazy. Are you kidding me? Get out of the water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can see where there's some apprehension. So when a person approaches, an event like that, I think it's important to remind them something that's helped me over the past year is we deserve this. We deserve this adventure. We deserve to have our lives changed in a positive way. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to enjoy my life. And so an adventure like this, if it's going to help, people deserve that. And I think that's another thing that is important to touch on. Yes, it's available to you, but man, you deserve this adventure, man. So I think that'd be big in helping encourage people to go after it.
Yeah, that's powerful, man. Because the only person who's ever said that to me was another Marine, and spinal cord injury. I was sitting next to his bed, and we're talking. He crashed his motorcycle, and I was just telling him like, yeah, like I struggle with enjoying, stuff. And just have this like little baseline depression that's always kind of feels like it's always, dogging me. And but he said, he's like, man, he's like, you bring so much joy to people. Like you deserve to be happy and you deserve to enjoy your life. And it was like one of those things I was like, oh, dude, that's deep. Like I had never thought of
Yeah.
it in those terms. And I was like, dude, that is like, yeah, I got to think about that. So, but that has like that mindset really did transform because I was even while I'm in it and doing it, but this idea of like, oh yeah, you deserve this. You're like, yeah, that's really powerful for sure.
And yeah, absolutely. I think heck, deserve it, and maybe even, heck, we have an obligation to enjoy life
Yeah.
and what it offers.
We
So,
we might as well, right? I mean, we're all
yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yeah. There's like there's this thing where people like I like just my comedy brain. I'm always like talking about taking advantage of things and people. And it's like that has like a negative connotation to it. Everyone's like, oh, you don't want to take advantage of people. But like,
Right.
I'm on the other side of it where I'm like, take advantage of us, please take advantage. We want you to. That's what we're here for, is for this, take advantage of us. So yeah, that's a funny, but yeah, that is for sure. Like you owe it to yourself, you owe it to the world, you survived, That's the other thing that's crazy about people like us. When you live through and live with disability, the outside world is always watching, and even if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
realize we're like just being out in public is inspiring to people, as weird and sad as that all sounds, but it's just the truth. I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
tell people see me in my wheelchair and they're just like, oh, we're so happy you're out. It's like that's it. I'm just out and I'm inspiring people because I'm out. So um yeah, man, that's like a really the things we do for ourselves in the world create positive change for the people around us who are observing that we don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, someone told me once, man, I've never forgotten this. It was a personal training client of mine, and um, he had this journal. He would, write down his workouts and sets and everything, and he would use it to delay the next set and work out like he's really tired. So, but I
Right.
remember him one day, right out of the blue, right in the middle of a training session, he said to me, James, never dismiss anyone you ever meet for any, and he wasn't talking about judging a book by its cover, but he just said never dismiss anyone you meet because you never know what impact they may have on you down the road. Maybe you meet someone, uh, they like you, take an interest in you, and they have a job offer for you down the road, or you. And then later on, I always thought about what he said. And I was like, never dismiss anyone I ever meet for the impact they may have, and maybe the impact I may have on them as well. And so that's always stuck with me. So, and it could be in the smallest of ways, but um, having that positive attitude and being out there and having a smile on your face,
Yeah.
that people see that and they react to that, and it comes back to you, man.
Yeah. So in that same vein, um, for me, I'm like really quick to not let people help me, that kind of
Mhm.
thing too. And I've recognized that like, oh, I don't have like everyone in the world doesn't want to help me. So there's only a certain amount of people.
Right.
And if I'm a jerk to the people who are like, hey, do you need a hand? Like those are my people, like those are the people who
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
they're like, take advantage of me, what do you want? What do you need? I'm here to help. I'm a stranger.
Exactly.
that wants to take care of other people. And I can't tell you how many times I've been really mean to those people just
Oh
for
yeah, I've been
just for the
there.
laugh, just for my own personal, like, I got that old lady. So mean. But
I've
yeah,
been there. I've been there. It's funny. But as human beings, I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to help each other.
yep,
So these days, when I'm going into a restaurant or somewhere, and guys just happens to be right there, and he's like, "Oh, hey man, let me get that." It actually feels good to say, "Oh, hey man, thank you, I appreciate it," because
yep,
we're supposed to be helping each other. So you know, once in a while I get an opportunity where someone's coming through the door and I actually happen to be in a position where I can open the door for them, and that's great. That's awesome. I'm helping someone else too. And the
yeah,
coolest compliment is when you're the guy in the chair, you open up the door and someone goes right in and says, "Oh, thank you," just like they would any other person. It's like, "Thanks for letting me do my part too."
yeah,
It's cool.
yeah. That is, yeah, man. No, it's, yeah, it's a strange power. Or even like I've started just I'm gotten really comfortable asking for help now at the grocery store. Because
Mhm.
I'll like zip over my power wheelchair. But it's like I can do everything, but it's easier if someone else grabs the milk for me. And it's easier if someone grabs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And,
I'm
and
just
people are happy to do that.
Yeah, that's people like I'm shocked at how happy it makes people to get me a gallon of milk, you know? Like
Yeah.
there's a dude in my, hey man, can you help me out get this? And now he's like, we're pals. He's like, oh, this is awesome. I can't, so
Yeah.
many people have been like, I'll say thank you. And they're like, oh no, this is a blessing to get to help you, like
Yeah.
thank you for letting me bless you. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. But I would have never, that wasn't in my mind until I started just doing that and then recognizing like, oh wow, people want to help. And if you give them that chance, empower the helpfulness, they're more grateful to help you than you are to get the help almost. Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely. It's taken me, geez, I mean, I was 26 when I was injured. I just turned 52 months ago. It took me that many years almost to figure that out. And so, yeah, it's great. I'm glad now that I have. Uh, yeah.
You know,
Now I can like I said, I deserve to be happy, and I'm like now I get it now. It's okay. It's important to let people assist and to ask for help, because that's the way we're going to get through life. Is got to help each other.
yeah. No, I think your timeline though, it feels very accurate if I'm going by my own self, I felt like it took me 20 years. I felt like at 20 years, I was finally like cool being this guy, you know, like after,
Yeah,
so now this is my 25th year within the disability, but I also feel like this year has been another just step up in the acceptance of the whole thing and being cool with it and all of that.
now it's just so routine that we can live a normal, although I don't know what normal is, but live for the most part,
Right.
a normal life. I mean, I don't even think a second thing of it really. Obviously, there are some obstacles that pop up here and there, and then you adapt and you dismiss it and get over it and keep moving forward.
Adapt, that's the word, man. I mean, that's really all, yeah, 100%. It's crazy how adaptable people are, right? Because everyone tells me, so I imagine you hear it. It's like, I could never be you, I could never do your life. I couldn't do life like you do and be happy and all that stuff. And I'm always like, well, you would have to. There's no choice in it. You find yourself stuck here. And so you're either going to live or not, I guess. I mean, that's the hard, sad part is that there are a bunch of people out there who just like quit. Like just, well, I'm not gonna be this guy,
Yeah,
whatever. And so um feel like there's a lot of quitting that goes on for the first handful of years, potentially. And then there's a a reckoning or realization, like I'm stuck in this thing. We better do something with it. So at least that's what I hope. And that's like why part of it having this adaptive sports, water sports program is like, when you're ready, we're here, but let's get as many as we can before it's too late, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You're right. It's amazing what a human being can do when their back is against the wall and they're forced to adapt.
yeah,
Because you're right, they do, and there are some who I suppose give up, and one could say that I gave up on myself for the longest time. That's why I ballooned up to 240 pounds. Eventually, I just didn't want to be that way anymore. I reminded myself I deserve to be happy.
yeah,
I deserve adventure and to be healthy and
yeah, it's powerful, man. It really is.
having things like the adaptive water sports program encourages me to continue that path so I can do that again, keep that going, and more positive people and other people who get it.
Yeah. No, but that's another glimpse behind the curtain, man. Exercise, healthy living. The like our program enables people to set a goal to do something hard in the future. So like me personally, I really wanted to wakeboard. I saw
Mhm.
I saw a guy doing it, Austin, and I was like, I think I could do that. But I worked out hard for a year, I failed a handful of times. And finally, when I got it, it was like one of the biggest, huge accomplishment, achievement. But it was like, oh, I had to work out to get there. And
Yeah,
that's another thing that we have in mind with this is that we know it's a one thing, but you got to work out. We have Arizona or Arizona Day for the Blind and Visually Impaired is coming up in September. And 2 years ago was the first time they came out with us. And the reason that they weren't very successful at a lot of stuff was because they weren't strong enough. They hadn't worked out their upper body, all these different things. So a chunk of them left with like, oh, I need to get in the gym so I can be stronger, more successful next
yeah,
year. And they came back and they were. And it's like, yeah, that's another part of it where it's like people experience it. And then you do kind of recognize your own weakness. I mean, we all have weakness, but there's like, you recognize the potential
yeah,
or strength and getting better and all that stuff. Yeah. If I push myself, what more? So yeah, man, that's another, community,
absolutely.
health. Yeah, man, these are all the things that we're doing and have in mind for like why we want someone to come and water ski with us. So
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned something just a moment ago that I really liked about. You said you had your failures along the way. Um, Man, I embrace those failures, man. The failures are great because it's just, you push yourself to a certain limit, and that's what you're supposed to do. It's maybe didn't accomplish that goal, but it was an accomplishment to push yourself to get that far. And that's a good thing.
yeah,
And so yeah, you do got to push yourself to get out there and get on the skis. And it's just a real cool thing to have done and to look forward to, and makes it just helps keep that forward momentum going. I think another aspect to this program is the next day after the day on the lake at Lake Bartlett, I was down the street at a local watering hole, and I was showing everyone pictures and video. Just in everyday life, people without disabilities, they don't always do this stuff. I mean, there are people that get out there water ski and stuff, but this program is available. We get to do stuff that a lot of people don't do. And so we come back, I came back with an adventure and people are like, gee, I've never done that.
yep,
And it's like, well, I've done something you haven't. So it gives, not that you competing with other people, but I mean, it's like, I'm a guy with a disability and I did this, well, then much more an adventurer than an able-bodied person is. I mean, heck, we've got to take advantage of what's available to us.
Yeah, well, that's another, I love that too. So that was, I recognize that same thing, but I would show people the pictures, videos, and so many people are like, oh, I want to do that. Like my
Yeah,
able-bodied friends are like, that's so cool. I want to do that. Um, but that made, and then I'd be like, well, just do it, like you're perfectly able,
yeah,
but there is still a gap of figuring it out if you don't have a friend who owns a boat or what all that stuff is. So
sure.
that was actually why I came up with this year. We're doing the very first ever a wake surfathon and a tubathon, which is just an opportunity for able-bodied people to raise money, $250 to come and wake surf or $150 to come and get, dragged around on a tube. But so that
Yeah,
we have one day where able-bodied people and disabled people are all coming together to wake surf and tube and do it together so that we
yeah,
can, but I just recognize like, oh, we have boats, coaches, equipment, that we use for disabled people, but this can also be for able-bodied people too. And wouldn't it be
sure.
if we could figure out a way? So, but yeah, so this is the first year where we're doing a thing where, so when you show those people the videos, you can be like, oh, you can come and do this with me, come and do it,
Yeah,
come experience this.
yeah.
Um,
Build that community, man. Build that community.
Yeah. And so this is, yeah, so September 21st is our first wake surf-a-thon, tube-a-thon event for able-bodied people to come out and participate. And I'm working really hard on, getting all that marketing just right so that people sign up and get sponsors and come out and do it. But yeah, James, yeah, you nailed it. Again, another one of those things where people see what we're doing and it makes them jealous, kind of,
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, it is a weird thing. Like, I have a really cool power wheelchair that's self-balancing and it looks like a toy and everyone wants to ride it, They're like, oh,
yeah,
that's so, and yeah, it's just one of those where it's a weird, or I don't know, just a handicap parking spots, that's an easy joke, but people are always like, front row parking everywhere I go. So, um, yeah, man, that's awesome.
right. Yeah.
So,
No,
uh,
and I get it because I have I used to think it was a strange thing to get excited about a new wheelchair. Because you think about, being bound. It's so funny because using the term being bound to a wheelchair, I don't think of myself as being stuck anymore. I really don't, especially, with all the programs that are out there, especially with adaptive water. I mean, there's no reason to, I want to say there's no reason for an individual to feel stuck. I mean, we all have our own, perception and, things we have to deal with mentally. But, your program is another reason for someone to not have to feel that way and to get out there. Even right now, I'm thinking back to that day on the lake and some of the pictures that are in my phone. I've got a couple of them printed out. They're not great because they're a little grainy because we're on the water and there was a little bit of distance from the boat. But I had it printed out and I'm just waiting for I ordered a frame so I want to throw that up on the wall, man. It's just another another adventure, but not just an adventure, but also another life event is what is what that day was.
yeah, no, yeah, man, you had the experience that we are hoping that you would have. Like this is what we want for people, and that's like what why
Yeah, and thank you for that. I mean,
we're
thank you.
here.
It's absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool, man. Well, hey, James, thanks so much for jumping on with me today, doing the podcast. I think that I'm excited to get this out for people to listen to. I just think that this is a great talk. You really
Excellent.
nailed
I
it.
hope it was helpful, man. I just want some people. I want so many people to have that experience I did, man. Oh man, if they could if they could have a fraction of that experience, they would just be amazed. It's definitely it's a positive thing to be able to experience. Really cool. I couldn't say enough. Can't even come up with the right words right now, but it's amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you, James. Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. So
thank you, my friend. We'll talk in the future. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, without a doubt, buddy. All right, cool, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on the podcast. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care. I appreciate you.
Be not afraid, for love is near, and perfect love drives out all fear. Be not afraid, be not afraid. Be not afraid, for love is near, and perfect love drives out all fear. Be not afraid, be not afraid. Face the truth, I ate that fruit, and so did you, my friend. And now the cry of our distress reminds us that we're powerless.